I find the producers are the messiest bitches I've ever seen. I know for a fact Nick and Landria was not in that bottle. And I realized this episode why y'all have it in no particular order. Because who better to stand next to Taylor on his way out the door than Landria and Nick? After my boy Taylor said she could be the one, his Miley Cyrus. He in fact was the one, and now they are together at the airport as a duo. Normally, I can't stand Taylor, but this was actually very diabolical for y'all to decide to do. Y'all could have did this yesterday, pre-close off conversation. But at least as they left, they look good doing it, honey. Another thing, at this point, I just feel like asking to be closed off is just so non-existent. Everybody is in their couple. Nobody's still exploring. But he asked if they could be exclusive. He didn't say closed off. And honestly, I feel like that was him asking her to be his girlfriend because they in love. And I actually love that Taylor was so mindful of the way that he asked her to be exclusive. He put in her cheerleading stuff. The boys were in unison, honey. They giving the Dallas Cowgirls a run for their money. The only piece of this episode that made me get the ick from Taylor was him trying to give Nick advice on what he should do for Landria to make her feel like she is really getting the best from him. Because I'm like, you the last person, the last. At this point, everybody has squashed it. Everybody's bygones. Landria gives him the hug on the way out the door. And there was no malice. Like, she was excited for him to connect with her because everybody came there for love. They found it. Cool. Nick is just as messy as the producers because he gonna ask Landria 1,001 times, are you over Taylor? Okay, well, let me make sure. And every time she gonna say, hell yeah. Speaking of Marcel's parents, Landria is outside with the homegirls on this episode. And she says, it just feels right. We don't feel weird. We're really building. I really like him. And simultaneously, Nick is saying the most profound, beautiful things that he could say about a woman. He literally is saying, oh my gosh, I want to do for her, provide for her. I make sure her pancakes is right and crispy. And that's a man that genuinely cares. But the best part of his speech was him saying the best part of this whole experience is doing it with her. I would have definitely liked more of Nick and Landria this episode, but I get it. They like to show the people that's going home the most on those episodes. So we got a lot of Taylor and Clark and Amaya Papaya. She had Brian toes curling like he was having a seizure. I noticed that the episodes are sometimes an hour and 30 minutes, sometimes they're an hour. Recently, these last couple calm episodes have been less than an hour. And honestly, I feel like they could use the extra time to show us the conversations. Because Brian mentions that him and Amaya had some really good deep conversations before they got into it and did the business. But we didn't hear any of that. And because of that, I still be feeling like their relationship is surface level. But they did look very excited. I was happy she finally got her itch scratched. Because my girl been going. She needed to go with somebody. I think Brian is a cool guy, but I want to know if he really likes her. Because when they have conversations, that they show us is her always initiating the conversations. And like, he'll joke, but there's no real substance there. There's also no real substance with Chris and Huda. They gotta go. They have got to go. This man literally said, I can't do this anymore with her. They got saved. She looked at him. He looked away. It's time to go. The conversation was embarrassing to watch because he genuinely is trying to tell her in different ways, like, I don't really like how you're communicating with me. Even when he was like making a joke, she's like, ew, don't ever say that again. He's like, don't tell me what to do. She's like, I just told you what to do. Like, I think the way that she flirts is third graders that have combative issues and they're like, let's just argue about it because this is cute. And he's not like that. Then he's like, okay, let me address it with her. And he's really trying to have a grown-up conversation with her, but she continuously cuts him off. And then she goes into this whole defensive mechanism of like, well, I just want to kiss you in the bedroom. Like, no, the thing that I realized with them two is that they'll have a disagreement and Chris is having a disagreement with the issue. Meanwhile, Huda is having a disagreement with Chris when they should both just be focusing on the issue so they can work through it. I tip my hat, I commend him because he did his best to hold it together and she just was not receptive. And then I noticed that when he was like getting irritated, she was trying to lean into the sexual thing again. Like, okay, well, I will kiss you in the bedroom. Like, she just did not understand. And then it was like, okay, whatever, I'm flustered, I'm leaving. I thought it was interesting that Chris asked Amaya for advice though. I don't really know how close they are in real life, but it was good that they let Landria off the clock today. She gave some sound advice. She did ask Huda, you know, this is what he's feeling, what's going on. And when Huda started getting emotional, she said, well, what are you getting emotional about? And that was just so funny because my girl Amaya can get emotional about everything. But if she's asking you why you emotional, babe. Now, Huda does say, oh my gosh, I don't want to be judged and I feel like they're just going to judge me. Well, no, she said they are going to judge me. And I wasn't really feeling that because nobody's judging her. I just don't know why she thinks that they have a microscope over her because at this point, everybody's in couples, everybody's happy, nobody's thinking about them. Now, it is valid that she had a situation with Jeremiah prior and she's saying she wants to move differently, but Chris is very valid in saying if we're being intimate physically and kissing in the bedroom where there's plenty of people there, we could be intimate in public, even if it's just a kiss on the cheek. It reminds me of when Huda said, oh, I wonder why none of the guys pulled me for a kid. I think she just wants him to close off so that she could feel like this go round, it's not everybody thinking that she's forcing the issue. and then she'll lean into PDA. But I think she's not saying that because she wants him to do it on his own. Nonetheless, I'm just guessing. But what I don't have to guess is the fact that Chris is over it, which made Taylor and Clark going home a lot worse. I like what Pepe said about Iris. It was cute. I like what Iris said about Pepe. We see more of her playful side this episode. She's twerking in the makeup room. She asking what if questions, which were hilarious. And then we have Ace and Shelly saying, I miss my baby daddy when he get back here. I don't really feel like I've seen much of them this episode, but it's okay because we've seen a lot of them these past 2 episodes, and I just love that when they were the first people to sit down, he's like, oh, I'm so happy, she's happy, they smile, and they share like this intimate look of love between each other. Her responses are always like, yeah, but in their eyeballs, you can tell they're really excited. It was sad seeing Taylor go because the 3 amigos are no more, but also they go home in a week, so they'll be back together soon. Yeah, I like the chillness of this episode again, but I just think, damn, y'all are so wrong for sending them off like that after that big ass orchestration of get-togetherness. But anywho, Team Nicolandra, because we get somewhere, baby. We had some head, some good conversations, some snuggles, and some jokes in the bed. Oh, my soul is fed.